Back in this bitch. Yes, sir. Straw hats. I guess we straw hats and shit at this point, you heard me? I mean, I watched this bitch twice, you know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is, you feel me? So, might as well be. So, Dressrosa, baby. We about to get into Dressrosa, alright? Yeah, a whole bunch of shit happened in Dressrosa and shit like that. Okay, so, let's get into it. First impressions of Dressrosa, okay? Let's start with Creamy Puff. Get into it.
It looks like a very happy place, and I was thinking like maybe it has Hispanic like stuff in it, and these toys are kind of strange but cool.
Yeah, definitely gave me European vibes, like Spanish vibes, like tango vibes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was cool. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You feel me? So y'all enjoy like the Hispanic? I bet, especially you. You know what I'm saying? I got to see that shit. Oda dropping in his little, Hispanic spice and shit. You know what I'm saying? You see it all up in that big, doing all that shit and all that shit, boy. And then that boy Sanji, you know what I'm saying? Like going all crazy and shit. You feel me? So how did you feel about that? You like the whole Hispanic feel?
Yeah, it was dope. I can relate to it.
Yeah, that was dope. How do you like that shit?
I like it because it's different culture.
They said what? Okay, so I got to see like the fairies and shit, right? The motherfucking fairies, they take whatever the fuck they want when they want.
Right.
You know, that's the whole ordeal that King Riku gave them after being enslaved and shit. But we see these niggas are naive and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. So what y'all think of the Tankathons and shit?
They're very cute and very strong and useful, but they're like children. You know, they believe anything. They look like kids. They act like kids. And
niggas do believe anything. Mm-hmm. What do you think of the Tankathons?
I like Princess Maaaannshare because it'll be useful to heal people, like when they're hurt. Like if you got hurt or something, she could heal you.
Yeah.
And
especially after playing basketball and shit, huh?
And the reason why they were slaves is because they believed in a lie, and that could get them into more trouble maybe someday.
Yeah. Shit, I mean, they've been pretty much enslaved and working for these niggas and shit for the past 10 years and shit. I mean, it gets them in trouble as it is. You feel me?
She can actually be a very key piece.
She could be.
To something much bigger. But we're not gonna talk about that right now.
Right. So the Flame Bay, y'all see Mingo, he put out the Flame fruit to lure Luffy into the fucking Coliseum and shit like that. Yeah. And they got his ass in
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? What did y'all think of that shit when y'all found out the prize was the Flame fruit?
I was like, is he gonna eat it?
You thought that was a ticket to Bounce Man, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you find out fucking, it was actually like Sabo was alive and all of this shit, you know, and then he's the one to go and eat the flame fruit and shit. How do you feel about all of that shit?
Well deserved, right? I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
It's in the right hands, like Luffy said, and I didn't expect him to be alive. I thought he was done in that boat.
Yeah. So you felt like Luffy felt, huh? My nigga was balling and shit, man.
Lucy.
My nigga was balling, you know what I'm saying?
Aww.
Crying and all this type of shit. And when they fucking met and all this, right? And my nigga Cresthead, right? We about to talk about him a little bit anyway. My nigga Cresthead, as soon as Sabo was like, hey, Moogie, Wala, you know, said it in like a mocking way and shit like that. And Cresthead like, yo, who the fuck is you talking to my nigga and shit all casual like this shit like that? Yo, he gonna be the king of the future, king of the pirates and shit, nigga. Put some respect on his name and shit, nigga. Right. And Sabo was like, yeah, I already knew he was gonna be the king of the pirates and shit.
And then
like
he
that.
smacked him away.
Right. And then fucking Luffy, you know, started crying and shit like that. And he was crying the whole time he was running this shit. You know, so what did y'all think about Cresthead, you know, going up to Sabo and shit like that? saying like, hey man, put some respect on my nigga name. It's future king of the pirates.
That's very nice, and he has some faith that he has some faith in Luffy. And I wish he joined like their pirate crew because he's cool and he respects them.
I think it was funny. Mr. Hype Man.
Hell yeah. And shit, I mean, he ain't even he knew Luffy for a long time, but not like knew Luffy and shit like that. Like, we've been traveling shit together. And he already calling him king of the pirates and shit like that, you know? So, what was your first impressions of Cresthead? Like, I would like to know what y'all thought of him at first. For a refresher, I give you a little refresher. You remember, like, people like fucking with him and shit like that. He threw the fake bomb and shit like that into the crowd and shit like that. What did y'all think of that shit?
Right?
Yeah, Cresthead.
Yeah. Under the big coat. Oh, okay. What did I think of him? I thought he was gonna be evil. I didn't think that he was gonna be Luffy's ally at all. Just by appearances alone, right? Yeah. I didn't think he was gonna be an ally or nothing like that, or a fan. The way that he was like fangirling, like big time. I did not see that coming.
What did you think about Cresthead?
A lot of things like
at first. What were your first impressions of him?
The first impression, it was because people were making fun of him and like wanted him to go away. So I thought maybe he was mean and cruel and stuff and did bad things.
But what you think of him now?
I like him.
Yeah. That better you, boy.
And I told you, like, he imagined these brown eyes of Luffy, like, Bo Hancock.
Oh, that boy Hancock syndrome.
like she imagined these eyebrows.
Right. I fuck with him, man. I seen through his shit even at the beginning and shit when I first seen it, because when he threw the bomb and shit into the crowd, they was like, man, y'all some shitty people anyways. Because as you seen, like, these niggas was pretty much worried about themselves, trampling over each other and shit like that. Like, they wasn't even worried about, like, helping out the other person. If it was a bomb, let's all try to get out here. You know, so he's like, man, fuck you people anyway. So I seen through that shit. I think I'm gonna fuck with him.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that, like, he was doing that to see what kind of people they are.
They were assholes. You feel me? So fucking you seen like the history and shit of Dressrosa, right? How the fucking Mingo came through and he was like, hey King, bitch, you already know what it is. You know my name, Gary. You already know what it is. Don't even try to front. You know what I'm saying? I'll let you buy this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Go get all the money and come get this bitch. But y'all seen he had all the strings and shit pulled. Fuck that shit up. Made people think the king and shit did all that shit and stuff like that. What did y'all think about that shit?
So cruel.
Yeah, man.
That was so bad. Like,
and
I felt really bad for
him.
the king, and I can only imagine, like, not only being controlled, right, but watching yourself, and you're still like conscious of like everything that's going on, but yet you can't do anything about it.
Shit.
It has to be the worst feeling.
Right. What did you think when you were saying that happened?
I feel bad for him because there was no way he could tell the people that he's being controlled.
Well,
they didn't hear him because they were screaming. Right. And he shouldn't have seen himself killing other people, like his citizens that he loves so much.
Right. That shit was crazy, man. Yeah, that string fruit was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Got multiple.
Yeah. You know. And then we found out that Mingo and shit, he's a whole fucking dragon. Back like what we talked on the whole fucking Fisherman Island one and shit. The Don Quixote family and shit like that. Dad was like, hey man, hey, we just gonna live a regular life. And man, you was kind of talking about that shit. That's kind of naive of him to think that you can go from being a celestial dragon to just doing this shit. But as I was telling you, you know what I'm saying, just because they were celestial dragons doesn't give the people a right to treat them that way. You know, doing what another person did doesn't make you right. You know, it's just gonna continue this cycle of hate and all of this shit. And from that, you know, he fucking has conquered Hockey Lash Out and shit and got recruited by Treble and fucking Virgo and all of them and shit. And they pretty much rose him up to follow him, you know? So what did y'all think about like that history and shit and find out that he's, first of all, a former celestial dragon and shit, eh?
He was such a brat.
Hell yeah, eh?
He shouldn't have killed his dad. That wasn't right.
Ooh, that was like, man, you have to have some type of evil.
He hated his dad.
And he was like, he wants like to buy some more slaves, and his dad keeps trying to tell him, we're trying to live a normal life.
Right. Yeah, he hated his dad for that shit.
Yeah.
And then the people didn't make it any better by acting the way that they did. And that's why I said that shit. Because if the people would have probably embraced him, maybe he wouldn't have been the way that he was, eh?
Right.
You know, so that shit was crazy and shit. And he's just a kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's pretty much all he knew at first. So, I mean,
it was a recipe for disaster, pretty much.
Right. And his dad told him, like, I'm sorry you have me as a father. Right before he got like, I mean, you trying to do the right thing. You trying to teach your kids, you know, like, people are people, you know, but, and y'all seen how the Celestial Dragons was like, man, we're not people, nigga, we gods, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Who fucking these niggas? You know, they say like the will of thee is like these people are rising against the gods. Like, and we Celestial Dragons are the gods and they are regular people. You know, which pretty much, that's why Fisherman Tiger didn't fuck with him, because he seen how other humans were treating other humans and were like, y'all crazy. Because as the fisherman said, like, we're all fishermen. We don't understand how y'all treat each other different just because y'all look just a little bit different. We look all types of fucking different and we treat everybody the same. So, yeah, that was a little, you know, little tidbit to see and shit like that, you know. But moving on, right. What did you think of Baby 5 and Senior Pink? Who want to start it? Go ahead, baby.
So, Baby 5 is okay. She's always wanting someone to meet her, and now I see why, because her mother abandoned her, and now she wants to be needed, and it was sad.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to feed her, but they can just keep splitting the food.
Right. And pretty much told her like nobody will ever want you and shit like
That's
that.
very selfish.
Selfish as fuck.
Selling your own child just to get more food.
I mean, there's a lot of fucked up niggas in One Piece, as y'all see.
Yeah.
You know, but there's probably people like that in the real world and shit too. You wouldn't want to think that shit, especially as parents and as a kid and shit. But people are like that, man. You know. So what do you think about Senior Pink? Okay, so he had to. I mean, you remember his story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you think though?
So at first I didn't really think much of him. Like I don't get why all these girls are all over him. But Frankie and Senior Pink, they could be friends. But then in his backstory, I know why he wears that babysitter. I thought it was because he wanted to feel young.
I thought it was ridiculous.
Boy acting like the baby. You know what I'm saying?
A real
baby on baby. Baby on baby. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was fucked up. That was a pretty sad story. You know, like,
and he didn't even care what other people said.
Fuck it, man.
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be, man. To appease my wife, man. Like I told you, I do the same shit too. She about throwing that baby fit, have a big like a motherfucker, boy. And if that's gonna bring a smile on the nigga face, man, it is what it is. Fuck all the other bitch. Man, bitch, give me the motherfucking wipe my sweat with that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do the same shit too. What do you think about Baby 5 and Senior Pink?
I thought they were pretty harmless, and I'm glad that we got to see their story, because I found out that they really kind of are. Baby 5, I'm so glad that she's kind of got a little bit of something of her happy ending, because it was really sad, and it truly was psychological what happened to her, and it explains so much, like, why she is the way that she is. It's because, man, that was from when she was a child.
Right.
So that hit her psychologically. And, you know, Senior Pink, I thought he was so ridiculous. I really thought he was so ridiculous, but he also had a very sad backstory. And now I understand a little bit where he's coming from. But.
And just like the rest of the executives and shit, boy, Singing 5 looked good when he was young and shit, boy.
Oh, he did.
She got older, boy. She looked good too and shit, boy. But,
yeah.
but like you said, it's either they look good or they round. You know? You know, but yeah, I mean, it was cool to see Senior Pink and Frankie and shit connect on that level and shit like that. And y'all seen Baby 5 got her dude, and he was like, I'm not gonna let them do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if Baby 5 would have met Sanji, oh, it would have been over, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she would have been the Straw Hat, or Sanji would have left the Straw Hat.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that would have been
it.
That would have been it. So, fucking, I got to see like the Admiral fucking Fuji and shit like that. He has a moral compass and shit like that. And it's good to see somebody, at least on the Admiral level and shit like that, especially to have a moral compass. He even stood up to Akino and was like, man, we got to take responsibility for this shit. You know, like, who the fuck are we? We're not gods. You know what I'm saying? Shit
Right.
like that. But what do y'all think of Fuji?
I think exactly like what you're saying. He has a sense of justice. He's one of the good guys. Like, you don't have to worry about him being a bad guy or having a secret agenda. He is a good guy.
Yeah. I remember he blinded himself.
Right.
Yeah, he blinded himself because he said he's seen too much like fucked up shit in the world of how people treat each other. And he said he wish he didn't because he wish he could have seen Luffy's face. He bet he has a kind face and shit like that.
He kind of does.
Yeah. So what you think of Fuji? And remember, he wants to abolish the warlord system. You know, especially after seeing this shit, he's like, nah, we letting these niggas get away with too much shit. What do you think about Fuji?
He's a lucky guy in gambling and gaming. I don't know how, but I'm okay with him, except for when he fights the Strawhats. But other times he's good.